Hey everyone, welcome to Geekoholics Anonymous, episode 201. My name is Rico, here with my co-host,
Dane Cody.
Dane, Cody, and I get...
Yeah.
He wasn't quite done yet.
Exactly.
Dane, Cody, and I get together once a week to talk about video games, TV, movies, and or whatever the hell we like.
What up?
Welcome, everybody. Episode 201, 201. I don't know. Say it however you like. We're back. Thanks, everyone, for taking part in our celebration of episode 200. Got a lot of participation. Makes me very, very happy. A lot of you guys took part in the contest. We got a bunch of new faces in the Discord channel. Got a lot of cool. We got a bunch more downloads on the podcast. Exactly all the things I wanted to see with this contest. And we
love giving away free shit to our cool people that are listening to our show.
Pretty excited. I guess we can get right into it. So if you're here for the contest details, last week we chose to give away Spider-Man, God of War, and The Division 2. As our first group of prizes. We've got 3 more games lined up for this week, and we'll do the same thing as last week. We'll do the secret passwords, and exact same hoops to jump through.
There you go. Exactly. I was just going to say, so in case you're wondering and you're like, wait, what? Somebody told me about this cool podcast. I haven't had a chance to listen yet. We're going to give away 3 games, but we're going to tell you the password for those games. So when you go online and you have to put your name in the hat, metaphorical hat, of course, it's the big digital hat, you'll have to put the password in. So you can put whatever you want in there, but if you don't have the right password, then it's moot.
But yeah,
exactly.
We got some good participation, which is awesome. It means people listen to the show, which is the whole point, is to reward our listeners.
Yay.
Because I had a huge contest like a year or so ago, maybe 2 years ago, with Assassin's Creed Origins. I gave away a few copies of that. And I think we
gave away a freaking Super Nintendo Mini. Come on.
We had like thousands of entries, but like those things went to like fly-by-nighters or bot accounts. I don't even know. Like, I know they're definitely probably people that haven't listened to the show at all. So anyway, the way we designed this is it's working. Because this is awesome. So we're going to announce this week's winners. And I know 2 are active members of our Discord, and 1 is a new member of our Discord. So that's awesome.
We do want to point out that it is random.
It is absolutely
not playing
random.
Favorites.
I did have to disqualify a couple people from Oslo and somewhere down in Brazil, because clearly it's North America only. But anyway.
Sorry, we're not shipping these things all over the world.
Our first winner for a copy of Spider-Man is Raymond J. I saw his user pick in Discord, so I'm pretty sure he's also a new member of our Discord server. I don't remember his alias, but I'm pretty sure it's the same person.
Well, I hope he plays some Spider-Man and comes into the Discord and tells us what he thinks, because we just so happen to be chatting a whole bunch about Spider-Man in the Discord right now, so that works out real well.
God of War goes to Daniel P. That's, I believe, Pinzo in our Discord channel.
Very cool.
And then the Division 2 goes to Jean Remy. I think that's how you say that. J. I believe that's Zutrong in our Discord. I'm pretty sure.
It'd be pretty awkward if it wasn't.
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh man, that's not, oh man.
I'm pretty sure it is. But
okay.
Anyway, I'll be reaching out to the winners, probably before you even listen to this episode. And I will, figure out how to get those games to you. The copy of Division 2 is digital, so that's real easy. I just have to email you. God of War and Spider-Man, I'm going to have to ship out. Those are physical copies. And actually, I guess I'll say it here as well, and probably in the messaging. If you win something that you don't want and you want to just throw it back into the prize pool for someone else, obviously you can let me know, and we can do that as well if you don't want the game. But It's not a big deal. You can, if you already have it, give it to one of your buddies and tell them to listen to our podcast. You want it rightfully. So congrats, guys. That's awesome.
Thanks for listening.
So this week, we're going to give away MLB The Show 19 on PS4.
Yeah.
Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu on the Switch.
Pika Pika!
And then Far Cry New Dawn on PC.
Yeah.
So we will start right off the bat here with MLB The Show. The secret password is...
Ooh. What would I rather watch instead of baseball? This week's password, golf.
So there you go, people. Golf is the password for MLB The Show. These games this week are all digital, thanks to PlayStation Canada, Ubisoft Canada, and Nintendo Canada for providing the prizes for this week. Obviously, last week it was PlayStation and Ubisoft, but this week got a little Nintendo love in there.
Woo-woo.
Yeah, so usually before we have contests every week, like we're gonna for the few next foreseeable weeks, probably another 3 shows at least we'll have giveaways.
Ooh.
After this, so because we still have a lot of stuff. The details for the contest, of course, are at bit.ly/Geekoholics200. That post will be updated with links to the new games that we're giving up or that we're giving away this week. So yeah, don't forget that bit.ly/Geekoholics200. That contest page is still going to be going updated with the new links to the new games. And and we still have Red Dead Redemption 2, Horizon Zero Dawn Complete Edition, The Last Guardian, Everybody's Golf, The Inpatient, Firewall Zero Hour, and
more.
And more. We still have another copy of Pokemon Let's Go Eevee.
Ooh.
And we're waiting for Microsoft to get back to us. So we might have some Microsoft Xbox or PC.
We're hoping.
Yeah.
We're hoping. We don't want to, we'd like to hand out some cool stuff for our Xbox fans out there.
So we usually start the show with our BS section, which is pretty much what we've been doing the last few minutes. Then we get into some what you've been playing, our news and stuff, public service announcements, and of course, free for all section. I don't really have a lot of BS. It was a busy weekend, long Easter weekend. Happy belated Easter weekend, everyone.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Got up to nothing.
Yeah, I just had all families Easter egg hunts and didn't get to play anywhere near as many games as I wanted. I did watch Infinity War again to get prepped for Endgame.
I also did that, actually. My wife and I watched it on the weekend on Saturday night. And her response was, what a fucking stupid movie that was.
Has she never seen it before?
No, she saw it. She saw it in the theater with me. She just forgot. She hates the end of that movie.
Oh,
she absolutely hates it.
Mad to the ending.
She's just like, that was so stupid. I can't believe they would do that. And she's like, now I remember why I forgot about this movie because it's so stupid.
That's funny.
Stupid hero movies are stupid. It was pretty awesome. So, but we're all ready to rock and roll for this,
nice.
for Endgame now.
So, I think we should get into it. What you been playing? Dane.
What have you been playing?
I can talk about Days Gone now.
What? Finally?
Yep. By the time this episode goes live, the internet will be set ablaze with all the reviews because I really doubt I'm going to have this podcast ready for 5 a.m. when the review embargo goes up.
Such a lazy bastard. Why won't you have it up ready for that?
Because we finish recording at bedtime and then I don't wake up till
excuses.
After. I'm just really interested to see where the scores land compared to what I'm going to give you with my impressions here. And I'll give it a score in quotations.
Quote unquote score.
So off the top, Days Gone was provided to me by PlayStation Canada. Thank you very much, guys, for hooking me up. Very much appreciated. You've known I've had it for almost 2 weeks now, I think. I have not beaten Days Gone. I'm probably 70% to 80% through the campaign. It is a pretty big game.
Okay.
And obviously with the holidays and stuff, I just didn't end up getting to play as much as I would have liked. So,
right.
But it's the only thing I've played. Like, I've dropped everything. I've barely played The Division. I have barely played any Destiny or like anything else. It's every time I have a chance to game, I'm playing Days Gone. So
do you have is there an in-game clock? Do you have any idea roughly how many hours you got in it?
No idea. No? I'd say I'm at least 30, 40 hours.
Okay, wow.
I've been doing a lot of side stuff too. Like it's a pretty massive game. So for those of you who've been living under a rock, Days Gone is Sony, PlayStation. Is it Bend? Sony Bend. First part. Their first party, right? Yeah.
Yep.
It's their first. Is it? No, it's their first like AAA PS4 title, right? I think.
Oh man, they've made a bunch of stuff. I don't know if this is their first. Let me quickly.
I think it's their first big AAA PS4 title.
They have made. They're in Bend, Oregon, so they've been around since '93. Man, they're known for the Siphon Filter games.
That's it.
Yeah, they were big on the Siphon Filter game. They actually, it's funny. You're right. This is their first PS4 game, actually, at all. This is their last console game since the PS2, believe it or not. All the games that they've shipped since Siphon Filter on PS2 have actually been PlayStation Portable and PlayStation Vita games.
I was going to say it was Vita games.
Yeah, they made Resistance Retribution for the PSP, and then they made Uncharted Golden Abyss and Uncharted A Fight for Fortune on the Vita. And then they have been working since 2012 on Days Gone for the PS4. There you go. That's the Sony Bend backstory. I wish they'd let them make another Siphon Filter game, because that would be rad.
Yeah. Hopefully you were talking the entire time there, because Skype screwed up on my end.
I was talking the whole time.
Excellent. So nobody knows except for the mention I just made.
Exactly. If you witnessed anything, nobody would have.
Everybody act normal.
Totally.
So yeah, Days Gone, if you've been living under a rock, is a zombie action survival horror
Dude, they're
game?
not zombies.
Okay,
they're freakers.
Right. They're freakers. They're totally not zombies. But if they were zombies, they're like the 28 Days Later zombies, which are fast.
Right.
Anyway, I don't want to go into spoiler territory. I will talk about things that were seen in like the E3 demo or maybe some recent trailers. So if you don't want to know anything, you might have to skip forward
ahead a little bit.
For a little bit, because I do have a lot to talk about. I'll be strictly talking about gameplay. Right. I'm going to mention the main characters and some locations. So I'll give you a warning on I don't know how sensitive you are to that stuff. None of the locations. My understanding is
it happens in the Pacific Northwest, right?
Yes, but like in-game locations, they're the names of camps. They don't ruin the story. But if you don't want to know the names, maybe you're that sensitive, okay? And I'm going to talk about a couple of the main characters. I'll leave out any other characters and so forth. But yeah. Anyway, the game
is it like? Sorry, I'll let you kind of get into it.
No, go ahead. What were you going to ask?
Start berating you with questions. I was actually kind of curious, like, because I know when they first released the one trailer at the E3, it kind of there was the stuff with Days Gone, and then there was the stuff with The Last of Us 2, and I think obviously The Last of Us 2 is incredibly brutal. Mm-hmm. I was kind of curious, like, I'm pretty sure this is games rated M, but it's pretty gory. Is it like a pretty brutal world? Like,
yeah, it's
like Last of Us brutal, or is it like a little less?
It's
like,
not the fun place to be. The world sucks.
Yeah,
they're scrounging around. Things are not good. Society's falling apart. There's all kinds.
Do they kind of give you like a decent enough of a sort of how it happened? Like,
they don't tell you exactly, and I don't know.
Okay, so it's kind of like
I haven't beaten the game, so I don't know what kind of resolution or whatnot. But that's a big part of the story, is figuring out is what happened. Right. Also looking for members of your family per se.
Cool.
And it starts when everything's collapsing, like story wise,
like as it's happening.
Well,
okay, that's
it's really neat. You don't really play a lot of the opening story stuff,
right?
when everything's going down, they're just building some backstory of the characters and how they got where they are and what's happened. And then I believe it does like a little time jump, like 2 years, right?
Oh, I see.
And
okay.
basically it follows your main character, Deacon, and his best friend, Boozer. They're both members of a biker gang. I believe, what's the name?
Sons of Thunder.
No, not the Sons of Thunder.
That would be a good name for a biker gang.
What is the name? Is it the Mongrels?
That's a terrible biker name.
No, I can't remember the freaking name. Maybe you can look up the name because I can't remember it. Anyway, you two are separated from someone. Stuff happens. You guys are what people call drifters. Basically, Days Gone is an open world game. There's multiple groups and factions. There's different camps around the world. Every camp, screen. There's a lot of like Walking Dead, Last of Us vibe going on here, like story wise and how society kind of works and stuff. I would honestly almost say this is like an open world Last of Us.
I think you're thinking of the Mongrel Motorcycle Club. Days Gone.
Is that what I said?
Yeah.
What did I say?
Mongrel MC.
Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, they're on the road. They're drifters. They have their little setup. They don't really. So they do jobs and work for these encampments.
Right.
But they're on their own. People know them as the motorcycle guys or the biker boys is what they're usually referred to.
That's funny.
I think there's other nicknames for them as well. And they do all kinds of side jobs from bounties and helping, some of the encampments when they need stuff or bartering for trade and whatnot. The game, like I said, is open world. It's third person shooter. There's melee.
Okay.
There's skill trees.
There's motorcycles.
You got all kinds of unlockables. You got all kinds of customization when it comes to weapons. You unlock weapons. You can't really customize weapons. There is some minor customization, like expanded magazines for some weapons, and like silencers and stuff, but not like nitty gritty. The big customization comes from your motorcycle, from different parts, sound.
So is it kind of like your horse?
Yeah, it's like a super souped up horse, and that you can get, new shocks and new steering wheels or a new frame, new engine, nitro, new tires.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Like there's tons of customization on the bike, and you,
do you have to find like petrol for the bike?
Yes.
Interesting.
The
okay.
bike. This is the one complaint I have about the game. I don't have many complaints. There were some bugs in the first version. It's been patched like 3 times, and I think there's even another patch before launch.
Right.
So I had some bugs, but nothing game breaking. It's not a big deal. It's an open world game, a couple little janky things. But yeah, your motorcycle. This is the only real complaint I have. Is it's not very fuel economic, efficient. It's very bad at wasting gas, and I think that's just kind of.
Is it a hog? Does it make a big?
It's a serious hog.
I mean, you're a biker, so it makes sense.
It's a serious hog on gas, that's for sure. And I think that has to do with, it's just part of the mechanic of that they want to get you off the bike. So that you're not just always on your bike.
Just like driving around.
I have a motorbike. Motorbikes are really good on gas. This bike, I swear, has like a hole in the tank. But it makes...
So as you're driving, you're watching your fuel to gauge slowly go down.
It also limits your ability to fast travel. Because if you don't have enough fuel to fast travel from one section of map to the other, you. Oh wow!
So even when you fast travel, it uses fuel.
You can only fast travel when you're near your bike. So if you're not near your bike, you can't fast travel. Another thing with your bike, you can also save at your bike. So you can.
That's kind of cool.
It's really cool. They got quick save, which is really nice. You just hold down triangle near your bike, and you got a quick save, which is awesome.
That's sweet
because you can save before an instance of like say you're going to take down a scavenger camp or whatnot. So the game opens up, all this stuff happens, yada yada. Got to fix your bike. Oh, surprise, your bike gets stolen. Then you got to start over with because you start with a pretty dope bike, and then you're basically building up your bike.
Okay.
And then you run into a camp, and then they need you to go do some stuff. And this first camp is Copeland's camp, and he's kind of like a militaristic type. Don't trust the government. This is the government's fault. This is black helicopters. And
he's a little bit paranoid.
Yeah, he's super it's a super militant camp, but they're a peaceful camp. They're fine. They're not super crazy, but he is a little
bit off the rails.
He's a little conspiracy theory kind of guy.
Right.
But whatever. Camps have there's little different systems in camps. You got the mechanic where you can buy fuel, you modify your bike. Camps have a trust system. When you do quests for them, you earn trust, and at different levels of trust for each camp, you unlock better guns you can buy, better motorcycle upgrades you can buy.
Can you only buy fuel from camps, or
no? It's scattered all over the world.
So like at gas stations or something? Can you do you come across them, or
they're jerry cans spread around the world?
Oh,
so
okay.
Gotcha. Gas stations, nothing's working. There's no power and whatnot.
Okay,
but it's really cool because they kind of pay attention. Abandoned tow trucks on the side of the road have jerry cans always.
Oh, okay.
Police vehicles have ammunition all the time. Fire engines and ambulances have health kits. A big part of this game is scrounging scrap and materials because you can craft weapons, like your melee weapons you can craft different traps for the freakers or human enemies. You can craft distraction items like smoke bombs, and there's actually a little beeping device for getting, say, a horde of zombies off your tail. You can throw it and it makes a noise that attracts the zombies, or the freakers, sorry.
The horde.
So yeah, it's kind of cool that when you go into an area, you have kind of a survival vision that highlights items, and you'll have rags and bottles and kerosene, and obviously combine that, you make a Molotov, right? And so forth. Get a baseball bat and nails. Oh, now I have a spiked baseball bat. Of course, these recipes you unlock by doing different storylines and quests. They're rewards for doing different stuff, right? Progress in different quest chains, so you get different crafting recipes as you do quests and whatnot. And you can see all these rewards in the storyline. There's a section in the game, you're in your menu, you've got your inventory, you've got there's a storyline menu, you've got your skills, and then the map, of course. And in storyline, you see all the overarching storylines, and some of them cross, and you earn percentages in them as you do different steps and as you earn new quests. And that's where you can activate the active ones. Of course, you can highlight them on the map as well to make them active.
Right.
But if you look at progress for any given storyline, it shows you all the unlocks. So if you want to just keep working on one storyline, and of course, story-wise, some stuff stops and you have to go do other stuff, but you can kind of plan if I do this, I can unlock this crafting recipe, or if I do this, I can unlock this weapon. So that's kind of neat. I didn't know that wasn't immediately obvious at first, but last few times I played, okay, if I go this way, now I can get all those these really reward you with crafting stuff. These reward you with guns. So now I want to go do that. So the freakers, whatever, in the daytime, there's a few out. They're not as deadly in the daytime as they are at nighttime. At night,
are they slower moving in the day, or are they're
just a little less
more lethargic?
They're a little less crazy, and there's just fewer, so they're not as deadly. Because you can easily take on a few with melee attacks. You got silencers, you got a crossbow. You can craft crossbow.
So is there a thing in the game where if you get bit or if you get attacked by them,
if they grab you, there's a rapidly press a certain button to break free,
right?
And if you don't do it in time, they will kill you,
right? And is in the world, is it kind of they're called freakers, but is it more or less like a zombie in the world? Is the story kind of along the lines of these things came along and they attack people and cause more of them? Or
that they haven't,
or have they?
They have. They haven't really spelled. They haven't spelled that out.
Need to tell. Okay,
they haven't spelled that out in the story, so it's not really a spoiler.
Cool.
But they are getting into the freakers and what's going on with them and so forth. Like I said, it's been a couple of years, so that's developing.
Interesting.
It's
right.
really,
as people are kind of learning.
It's interesting
still being alive.
Because there's a faction that is like, you know, the military like science group. They're still around. They have helicopters and stuff. Nobody knows where they are and stuff. So, you know,
wow. That sounds like a really cool universe.
It is kind of cool. I'm really enjoying the story. I'm really enjoying the gameplay. It's like a lot of survival. You got to find gas. And like I said, I was complaining about the gas thing because the bike's not very fuel efficient. But finding gas.
Like what happens when you run out of gas? You just stop on the side of the road?
You can push your bike. You can get off your bike and just go find gas. When you're low on gas, it actually highlights gas on the map to help you out.
Okay.
I've never really, I've never really had a hard time. I've had to go for a little jaunt to find some gas. I do have a little cheat I'll share at the end of this on how to kind of manipulate the gas / fast travel system.
Right.
But yeah, so you and Boozer doing stuff happens. You're doing work for the different camps. As you go along, you unlock more camps. It appears that there's only 3 camps in the game. At least the menus on the screen only make it seem like there's 3, and I have unlocked the 3.
Okay.
Like I mentioned Copeland, the kind of the militant camp. Iron Mike's the more diplomatic, you know, help everyone, good guy camp. And then there's like Hot Springs, which is like total like the work camp. And you actually, when you're just traveling around the world, because there's side stuff to do, right? You can the freakers, they create nests around the world, and you can burn their nests down, which will lower the freaker population in different areas. So it'll make it easier to travel around areas at night. Of course, if you burn nests in the daytime, more freakers will pop out of them because they're not just going to sit in there. They all come screaming out of the nests, right? So in daytime, they're hibernating. So if you burn a nest in the daytime, say 6 enemies will come out. Well, if you burn it at night, maybe only 2 or 3 come out because they're all running around the world, right?
Right. But they're more dangerous at night.
Exactly.
So there's a little risk reward.
Exactly. There's a little risk reward. And if you burn them out, obviously you're getting experience, you're getting crafting materials, and you're also making the area easier to travel around, which is kind of nice. But also, as you're going around the world doing your quests and whatnot, you'll see like little blue question marks will be like random events going on, whether it be someone getting attacked by, I can't remember what, there's a couple of different factions. There's the Rippers, which are like total like doomsday cult, like crazy skinhead maniacs who they think death is
like something out of Mad Max.
They kind of idolize the freakers and death. And
interesting.
They're weird. They're messed up. They're all like scarred up and like burnt, and they're weirdos. They're all mental. Right. And then you've got like scavengers and marauders, which are just like bad groups of people who just rob and steal.
Right, murder you, take all your shit.
So yeah, these random events could be people getting attacked by other people getting attacked by freakers, or stuck in buildings, and you help them. And when you help them, you're like, oh man, you're crazy. What are you doing out here? You're going to die. And you get an option to actually send them to the different camps. So you can choose what camp to send them to, and you get different rewards. So like if you send them to the work camp, you actually only get credits. And if you send them to some of the other camps, you earn trust and credits.
Oh,
and the trust is individual for each camp, as is with the credits. The credits are only if you have a bunch of credit in one camp, it doesn't apply to the other camp. And the whole economy is based off of freaker ears.
Oh, that's
so weird. When you kill freakers, they drop ears. And basically that's a currency because it's like you're doing your part helping make the world safer. So you get credit, which is usable for services in the camp. Survival aspect stuff for your bike, stuff for your gun, health kits, ammo and whatnot. And it makes sense, right? Like you're killing zombies in that area, or freakers. God damn it, I keep saying zombies. You kill freakers in that area, you get credits. Actually, other aspect is hunting. If you hunt animals, trade in the food at the camp, you get credit as well, and trust.
Okay.
So it's a neat system.
How many weapons can you hold? Is it like you can only hold like 1 or 2?
You can hold 3 weapons and a melee weapon. So you get your primary weapon, which can be like a shotgun, fully auto shotgun, machine guns, light machine guns. You got a special weapon, which is, like the crossbow is considered a special weapon. Sniper rifles, heavy machine gun is considered a special
bazookas.
weapon. I haven't seen a bazooka. I don't know if they're.
Give it time.
I don't know if there's rocket launchers.
Grenade launchers.
I don't think there's grenade launchers either.
Oh man,
there might be, but I haven't unlocked them. That's for sure. I think the biggest gun I've seen is the machine guns, like the full heavy machine guns.
Right.
And then of course you've got your handguns or like
sidearms.
Yeah, so that can be like a sawed off like shotgun,
cool,
or pistol. And then your melee weapons are like, you always have your boot knife.
Oh, okay. So at least you're not
for stealth kills. You use that for stealth kills.
Punching dudes.
Yeah. So there's no punching. You always have a weapon. So stealth mechanic, sneak up an enemy, one hit kill. Use your knife. You're slicing throats. You're stabbing guys in the side of the head. It's pretty graphic. And then your melee weapon, which is like a 2x4, a pipe, or an axe. There's all kinds of melee weapons, and of course you can craft different ones. Like right now, I unlocked how to basically make any type of wooden item with a saw, like a literally saw blade on the end, and it does quite a bit of damage, and it has quite good durability.
That was actually my next question. Is it only the melee weapons that have like a durability?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so it's not like you shoot too many dudes and your gun is...
No, the silencers break. Because the silencers are literally oil filters that they put on the end of the guns. Which is kind of funny. So those break, and you can only ever have one at a time, so you can't totally load up on silencers, so you can't abuse having silenced weapons. Noise is a big aspect of this game, right? Beyond the small groups of freakers, there are hordes, literally like hundreds of freakers traveling in big packs. There is a big achievement, or I guess it wouldn't be an achievement because it's an Xbox, but a trophy for like dealing with all those freaker hordes. There are multiple hordes in each area. Actually, when you're in the map, it shows you like all the stuff you've done, like the different kinds of camps, if you've gotten them all, or the Nero checkpoints. Nero is that military faction, and they have checkpoints. And you can see how many you've done in an area for like your completion and whatnot. And the hordes, of course. I was really scared to take out hordes, because if a horde sees you and you're not ready, you're dead. Like, you're done. There's
just too many of them, right? Like,
and at first you don't have a lot of stamina, so it's hard to run away. And then obviously it takes a while
stamina
for you
meter?
Pardon? Yeah, there's stamina. But you can boost all this stuff. And like I said, there are skills. So like you've got your skill trees, you've got your melee combat, your ranged combat, and your survival. And there's different perks you buy as you level up. You can unlock regain stamina for headshots. If you kill guys with headshots, or get a little boost if you rolled away from enemies and stuff like that. There's all kinds of different perks. So I went all ranged. So like to boost up because a big part of this game is shooting.
Stay the hell away from people.
Stealth is handy, but stealth ain't going to help you with the freaker horde. Stealth is great for a marauder, ripper camp, or whatever. But I went all ranged because I wanted more ammo. I wanted better accuracy. I wanted bullet penetration. Like, one of the perks is like 2 birds with 1 bullet. I think that's specifically the name of the perk. So like if, when a horde's chasing you and there's hundreds of guys, your bullets are going through and hitting guys behind them, which is very helpful when you're trying to take down hundreds of freakers. Like literally I was terrified of them. And then finally actually Teacup was over the other day and he's like, just try taking them out. I'm like, okay, I'll save it and see what I can do. And I dropped a couple like distractors. So like the horde like went to these things and they just had these big piles of zombies all like freaking out at these things. And then I threw some pipe bombs and I threw a bunch of Molotovs. And I think I literally killed like 75% of the freakers. And then I just had to clean up the rest with my machine gun. And you've got focus, so you got like a bullet time, which you can also upgrade. So focus slows down time when you're shooting enemies. Stamina you can upgrade as well, which is your running, your you're rolling, because if you get in trouble, you can roll and kind of escape their grasp, and then run away and make some space and use your focus while you're shooting guys to give you a chance to breathe and kind of, get everything, everyone away from you, because when they're close to you, you're in trouble.
Right. And
of course you can boost your health.
Yeah.
And that's through like finding stuff in the world.
Right.
So I talked about the skills. Yeah. Health, sound, focus.
So you like it though?
Like, I really like it. I'm enjoying it. I really like it.
Okay.
It's
because it's one of these things where like obviously Sony has shown this game off multiple times, and like there was like a press thing a while ago where a bunch of people went and saw it, and it's really interesting because like like Greg Miller and those guys, they seem pretty positive about it. Like they sounded like they were pretty like interested in it. But then, listening to the Giant Bomb guys, they seem pretty negative on it. They were like, "Yeah, I don't know. That game's kind of
well." That's the thing. So without playing this game, at first it's like, "Oh, it's The Last of Us. Oh, it's a zombie game." So there's that already. They have that zombie fatigue working against them.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a new zombie game. Like it's not it's not like all the other ones, because the survival aspect, the scrounging for materials, the scrounging for fuel, it adds it really feels like this is what the world's like. I gotta find shit. I don't always have ammo. I don't always have gas. When I go somewhere, I gotta think about when I get there, how am I gonna get out of there? Oh, also, I don't have any credits with the camp, so I can't refill my ammo. So I got to keep my eyes open for a police car to get some ammo. It's really cool. Like I was thinking that like if they go another level, it's like they could have added, if they added the like say a eating mechanic to this, then it would be like a true full on like survival. Like I would think that would be cool, like on a different difficulty if you want that sense of realism, because that's the only thing that's really missing from the baseline game, because you have to find fuel, you have to find ammo, you have to find materials, you just don't have to eat, which like I said, my one complaint was the gas thing, and I only complain in quotation marks because I just feel like they're kind of hard on how much gas your bike would waste. I feel like motorcycles are very efficient on fuel, and they should maybe change that. And to be honest,
to be fair, Harleys are not efficient on fuel at all. You've driven a crotch rocket, which are a lot better on fuel than Harleys.
Yeah, but still, the amount of
hogs are not good. The amount of
distance you're traveling, you wouldn't waste that much gas.
No, of course, but it is a video game, right?
So I swear a V8 pickup truck has better mileage than these things. It's not that bad. I'm exaggerating, but at the same time, you might get annoyed. But that's the thing. It's part of the risk reward survival aspects of this game, which I think are done really well. Day night cycle. The weather's like amazing. It'll go from snowing to raining to beautifully sunny, cloudy.
That's cool.
It's.
I do like the dynamic weather
cool.
stuff.
It's a really neat world. I really like the story. I like the gameplay. I like the mechanics. How's
it look? Because
it looks really good. Actually,
forever.
I made a mistake, and I was playing the game like up until a couple days ago. I actually didn't have HDR on, and I was like looking at some screenshots online. I'm like, that's not what the game looks like to me. And it's like, and I happened to be in one of the menus. I don't know what I was doing. I was like, oh, my HDR is not on, and maybe it's been patched in because, like I said, I've literally only I've had this game every time I quit playing, I just suspend my PS4, in power save mode. So I immediately jump right back where I left off. Like, I don't think I've reloaded the game since I started playing, and it's the only thing I've been playing on my PS4.
Right.
So maybe now when you launch a new game with the updates, it prompts you, hey, dummy, turn on HDR. You got an HDR TV.
So you've been playing it like how I would have seen it.
Yeah, and now I put on HDR. I'm like, that looks like the screenshots that I was seeing.
That's cool.
It's a nice looking game. It's an open world game, so there's a little bit of pop in. You get caught up with that shit. It's just whatever. It's an open world game, right? But it looks good. The cutscenes look really good. The characters look good. When they go into the cutscenes, the humans look quite good.
Right. Smooth, like it runs pretty well.
It's 30 FPS. I don't think it's 60.
You're playing on a Pro, obviously, just in case anybody's wondering.
I think I've covered most of the stuff. I'm really liking it, and I'm going to beat it. I think it's a really, really fantastic first-party game from Sony. Again, just killing it. And don't let the zombie fatigue fool you. Like I said, I compared this game to an open world Last of Us. Like if The Last of Us was open world, because it's got the storytelling, it's got the characters. I really like Deacon. Some of the other characters, not so much, but I really like Deacon, he's the main character, and that's really all you have to like. He seems like a cool guy. He's got a neat backstory.
That's cool.
It's a good game. I'm like, now when I first started talking to you about this, I'm like, in my head, I already had a score for this game. I was going to say like an 8. Like it's just a really good game. But now that I like hear myself talking about it again, it's like, you know what? It's probably better than 8. It's probably like an 8.5, closer to a 9. And they're going to add stuff to this game. They already talked about, I think that's one of our news stories. Like they're going to be adding content, weekly challenges, stuff like that. That's going to be free. They are adding a survival mode. They didn't say all the details, but apparently a harder mode. Yeah, I think it's a really good game. If you got a PS4, I think it's definitely worth checking out.
Sweet. Like I said, it's been kind of a weird, it's been that weird game that, like, obviously we thought this was kind of going to be out a couple of years ago, and then it kind of went back in the oven, and now it's kind of
it's a good thing.
So I'm really glad to hear that they put it back in the oven and that it's come out and it's good. You know what I mean? Like, because unfortunately, sometimes that is not what happens.
No,
so
it's
hearing that's really good.
No, it's an awesome game. I think it's
cool.
It's really good. I'm really happy, and I think people were discounting it because of the zombie comparisons, right? Like people are like,
I definitely can't lie.
People are sick of Walking Dead. People are sick of all that stuff.
Absolutely. I mean, I've had zombie fatigue at this point for years.
Oh yeah, like before Walking Dead, we already had like all the Last of Us. Like zombies were the go-to enemy in video games for decades now. So
it's seeming like they showed up in the 360 there with what was the launch title there, the big one that came out, and that was finally everybody's like, oh my gosh, we can have like 100 dudes on screen. This is great. We need to make a bunch of these. And it just seems like ever since then, there's just been a ton of them that have come out. So, that said, it sounds like this has actually got like some good hooks and
I even said when I played it at E3 last year, I'm like, yeah, this seems pretty good. Seems like it's going to be decent. And I think they've exceeded my expectations. And I think they're going to exceed a lot of people's expectations. I'm really excited to see where I land with everyone else on the internet tomorrow when the other scores pop up.
Either way, you enjoy what you enjoy.
Well, exactly.
So,
and
that's that.
I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to beat it. So I don't know if I'll beat it by the next time we sit down, but
yeah.
Anyway, I think you guys should check it out. It's a good game.
Sweet. There you go. Days gone.
I also got Cuphead on Switch.
Really?
Really what?
Nothing.
What? It's an awesome game.
Yeah, no.
It's amazing on
awesome.
Switch. I can't believe how good the freaking...
I've heard it's like pretty much perfect.
I can't believe on the Switch how good the port is from Xbox to Switch. It's an amazing Switch game. If you have it on Xbox or you've slept on it on Xbox, get it on Switch. Cuphead oozes goddamn style, and it's just got an awesome aesthetic, that old-timey animated cartoon look.
20s cartoon.
It's so cool. And it's Canadian-made games, so support them. Studio.
Hell yeah.
Or is it Studio MDHR? HR? I can't remember their freaking name. Anyway.
Yeah, out of Manitoba.
Are they in Manitoba?
Yeah, they're in I want to say Winnipeg.
Yeah, Studio MDHR.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, it's an awesome game on Switch. And I think they have some added content on the Switch version, which I think has come to the Xbox version. It has achievements. Apparently, it's eventually going to tie into Xbox Live, so I don't know if that'll have anything to do.
That makes sense, because wasn't that a Microsoft published game?
Yeah, it was
which is kind of wild when you think about it.
So
yeah,
I'm pretty
crazy.
stoked because I got decently far on the Xbox version, which is I think Play Anywhere as well. So if you have it on Xbox, you can play it on PC.
Is it a game? That's a Game Pass game too, isn't it?
I wouldn't doubt it. I think it is. But then it's like one of those things I got pulled away from it, and then I got it on Switch, and it's dope. I'm super happy that I got it on Switch.
I'm actually just looking real quick here. I could have swore it was a Game Pass game, but maybe I'm wrong.
And then the next game that I played that I don't have a lot to say, but I do have, and it seems pretty cool, all right. And actually, a lot of the reviews on the internet are pretty high. Is Steamworld Quest.
Yeah.
Which is the new Steamworld, in the Steamworld series of games. Like, what was the last one I played? Steamworld Dig? Steamworld Dig 2.
Steamworld Dig 2.
Steamworld.
Yep.
Oh man, there's like I didn't play the other one. There's another one. But yeah,
there was Steamworld Dig Heist as well. Steamworld Dig
Heist.
Steamworld Dig Heist
is the one I haven't played.
Yeah.
It's Image Form Games.
I won't lie. I was really excited about this press release when I got it. I saw it. I was like, oh man, this is so cool. And then I kept reading and they're like, it's a card game. And I was just like, all of my excitement was like,
it's a role-playing card game?
But yeah, they were like, it's a role-playing game in the SteamWorld like universe. And I was like, that sounds amazing. And they're like, it's a card game. And I was like, zero interest after that.
I just started. And I can already tell I really like it. It's really cool.
You're bigger into card games than I am,
but it's the cards just is like your loadout. So like your characters aren't locked into only having certain abilities because you customize it.
There's decks and that's all the shit that I don't like.
But
that's what I don't like about the card games.
It's very streamlined and it just feels like any other turn-based game. You'd be surprised how smooth it is. And I've played very little of it because I just got it a couple days ago.
That's fair.
I think
I'm
so far.
I've been hearing really good things.
It's
about
gotten awesome ratings. Like I think I've seen like 9s like consistently around the net, and I'm really enjoying the little I've played. I'm gonna play more. I will have more to say about that in depth at a later time. But so far, early impressions are very positive on that.
Fair enough. That's fair, man.
So you finally got on the Spider-Man train.
Look, man, I finally gave up on Sony. They were like, yeah, man, we'll hook you up. Just give us a little while. And then they did.
They did hook us up. They gave us a copy to give away to our fans.
Totally. Exactly. I was like, no, I want to give those away to our fans. I will buy it. It was on sale here in Canada at a really good deal. So
you can't not buy it for that price if you didn't already have it.
It was such a good deal. I was just like, I can't say no. So I picked that up last Thursday. Spent, I think, pretty much all day Friday, because Friday was a holiday here, and I pretty much played it all day. I think by the end of Friday, I had already found all the backpacks and done all of the landmarks, and that game is so goddamn good. It's so fucking good.
I told you. I gave it a 10 out of 10.
You
played it all packs with me.
Man, no, I know.
You knew it was good already.
I knew it was. It's just now I'm getting further along in the story and I'm appreciating more things. One of the things that I absolutely love about this game is there is a ton of collectibles, but they don't just unlock and just everything just doesn't unlock. So it's not like, those original Assassin's Creed games where once that initial bit at the beginning of the game, once the sort of the tutorial is over and they're like, okay, here's the whole map and here's everything now. And there's just a bajillion different icons on the map. In this, it's like you get on the map, and then there's like, oh, there's these icons, and you're like, oh, that's kind of cool, and you go around and you grab all the backpacks, and you're like, oh, that's neat. And then then they kind of like release another one. They're like, oh, these are these landmarks, and you're like, oh, cool. And then you go around and you catch all the landmark, like
open world stuff. So it's not super overwhelming at first.
It's so good. Yeah, it's just, oh my god, and swinging. Oh, the swinging. It's just, you feel like Spider-Man. Oh, and the costumes. I won't lie, I've been rocking the Ben Reilly costume, I think, the entire game, because that is, I think, my favorite Spider-Man costume. That said, though, I'm loving all of the costumes that they've dropped. I think my only complaint so far in that game would actually be that they don't give a little bit of backstory or a little bit of a explanation, like where the costume's from, what issue it was from.
It doesn't in the menus?
No. Like, I was a little bit bummed out about that. Like there's so many cool ones that you see, and like, as a Spider-Man fan and stuff, like, I recognize most of them. You know, and some of them, obviously, the name gives it away. This is the Secret War costume, obviously, you know, that's the one he wore in Secret War. But there isn't like I don't know, like, there'd be like, there's so many other little things, like when you're going around with the backpacks and you pick up the backpack and it gives you a little blurb about the thing that you found in the backpack, and like, oh, you know, and he talks about it, and it's so good, and it's just that little bit of extra. So to have, like, I don't know, to be unlocking these suits and not to have kind of that backstory on them is a little bit surprising, I guess, more than anything. That said, I still love that they're all in there. You know, and some of the kind of the ridiculous ones, obviously the one that the fans all wanted there, the costume from the original sort of Spider-Man movies from the early 2000s that are in there. It's just so good. Oh, it's just so good. And now, like, that I'm unlocking kind of more moves and more move sets and different things like that. It's just like really kind of, they're like little subtle differences I'm finding with the combat, but so good. Like, just, oh yeah. And the story, it feels like you're playing a comic book, which I get, and everybody is like, well, of course you are. It's a Spider-Man game, which is a comic book, like, but a lot of comic book video games don't feel like you're playing a comic book, if that makes sense. Like, it feels like you're playing a video game. And in this, it's like, this story is kind of, it's building and it's ebbing and it's flowing, and there's like, you know, you kind of get these like little tastes that, like, whoa, I don't know, that guy seems like he might be shady. Maybe that's the bad guy. Oh, like you're getting those little things like they would do in the comic books and stuff. And I'm really appreciating that. I love their take on Spider-Man and Aunt May and just the whole universe. Like the Doc Ock stuff, it's so well done, and the way they're bringing in Black Cat and how she's like super playful, and they fucking nailed it. Best Spider-Man game ever, possibly one of the best superhero games ever. Fantastic, absolutely fantastic. I think I'm 45% of the way through the main story already. So I'm almost halfway, and I've had it for a week. So I've been playing it almost every night.
Yeah, it's a dope game.
After my wife goes to bed. So, and I'm definitely not mainlining the story. I've been doing a ton of the side stuff. As, like I said, already got all the backpacks, landmarks, you know, and as the other stuff kind of pops up, I've been checking that out. I just finished last night. I just finished the little chunk that they showed at like E3 and stuff, where, you know, he kind of went through the construction site and then chased down the helicopter and stuff like that at the end. And that's more or less like, that was pretty much the last thing that I did last night. So that's kind of where I'm at as far as story wise goes. But yeah, man, that like I said, not a surprise. Just, it's, I think the more I play of it, the more it's just, it was like when I was playing it the first time. I just have a big stupid grin on my face the whole time because Spider Cop I fucking love. I know everybody's like, oh, I thought that was stupid. I'm like, screw you guys. I feel like if you're a Spider-Man fan, you can't help but love that. It's corny and it's so Peter Parker, and it's, you know, I'm loving like all the stuff with Mary Jane.
The voice actor for Spider-Man or for Peter Parker is amazing.
He nails it so well. So far I've only had one sort of quote unquote like stealth sequence with Mary Jane, which I didn't feel was amazing, but I also didn't feel was terrible. So I'm kind of neither here nor there about it. It was kind of a neat like way to tell the story where
they just don't feel as good as playing as Spider-Man. That's the only negative. That's the worst part of the game is those stealth sections. And there isn't too many. There's a couple more, but
some of the I will say some of the what's it called? The like research stations where you're like grabbing smog and fertilizing.
Yeah, some of that stuff's a little weird.
Some of that stuff is a little bit like, why am I like, what the heck? Okay, well, whatever. But none of it is bad. It is definitely like I will say that it is definitely a game where if you like checking off lists, you're gonna fucking love it. And if you kind of don't like that, I feel like, you know, you can just ignore it and play the story, and it's still an amazing game. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, like you're maybe not gonna unlock some suits, but you're still gonna be able to unlock almost all of the, you know, all the different gadgets and things like that. You get enough of the research points and things like that just from finding the research stations themselves that you can kind of unlock a bunch of that. You don't really have to do them if you don't choose. So, it's a cool game because it feels like a game where you can do a ton of side stuff if you want,
but you don't.
But none of it. But none of it feels like, you know, you have to go do this to move the story forward or whatever. Like, and I like that about it a lot. Combat's great. I'm really finding like you get into really awesome grooves, the combo systems and all that. Game is so good. Now I just kind of want to go play it.
Yeah, and you being the comic book guy, of course you're gonna like it, right?
I know. I didn't want to sit on it as long as I have. I just it's, you know,
it's not easy. Like I said, it's not hard though, right? Like you have always had so many things to play. Like there's no shortage of games to play. So it's like knowing how good it is, you still have a giant backlog and you have other new stuff that you were playing, right? So it's like,
yep. But I'm still making time because that game is so fucking good.
It's
like
hard.
That is a game that that's a game that I'll probably play more than once, even after
I gotta go back and get my platinum. I'm so close.
Because that's a game that I feel like it's a game that's great to just jump into the world and be Spider-Man. Like I feel like I could beat that game and I want to go back just to cruise around the city and just swing around, like, because it just feels so good. Which I feel like there hasn't been a game quite like that in a long time. So yeah, and then Far Cry New Dawn, I got that installed and started playing that. I'm about 3 hours in, I guess, on that. It's Far Cry 5, but it's not like I was trying to, like, it's funny. Somebody at work was asking me about it earlier, and I was like trying to put into like words sort of how I felt about it. It feels a lot like Far Cry 5, but with, I think, a little bit more Far Cry 4 added into the mix a bit. But then also not rushed, but you can definitely tell that this was a game that was like kind of built upon Far Cry 5 and not... Like, for example, like, it was funny, for the first little while, I was trying to figure out, like, okay, do I need to hunt the animals to get, like, skins to, like, make my wallet bigger?
A lot of systems.
And they streamlined so much of that, and I was like, oh, okay, so there's not really any reason for me to, like, go and do a lot of that, like hunting animals and stuff like that, outside of getting some of the like supplies and stuff like that you can trade the animals like pelts and stuff for. But yeah, I mean, I'm early. I'm super early. I feel like I'm just kind of getting past a bit of the tutorial stuff, so I'm going to hold off on sort of real thoughts on it until next week when I've had a bit more time to actually spend with it and dive into it. Like, I've only finished like one sort of my first outpost, and I've it's interesting. It's like some of the stuff that I love about, like, that I really, really liked about Far Cry 5, but there's definitely something that feels like it's missing, and I don't know how to explain that, if that makes sense. I don't know. There's like a feel. I don't know if it's the way like the gunplay, or like
it's just a level of polish is missing from it.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is.
Maybe it's a little fatigue because you just finished Far Cry 5 and it feels so similar. But it's weird at the same time because it's like, I've been here, but it looks different. So it feels different.
Right. And it's also weird because, like, you can get supplies and you can sort of build some weapons, but then, like, you can also just pick up guns and stuff. So then it kind of becomes this question of, like, why do I need to build some of this? Like, there was kind of that weird, like, I don't know if maybe they started by, like, you're going to have to, like, scrounge around and like get and build these weapons. And then they decided, like, later on, like, maybe that wasn't the most fun. So then they kind of walked that back a little bit. Like, I'm not really sure.
Because the scrap and stuff is used for unlocking stuff around your base.
Right. Like, I don't know. So like I said, it's pretty early, and it's kind of funny because they talk about how hard, like, fuel and stuff is to come across and this and that, and yet there's quads littered all over the place, and you can hijack trucks, and like so it's like gas doesn't seem to be that difficult to come across, but like, and I get it, it's a video game, but yeah, so like I said, we'll see. It seems much shorter than Far Cry 5 was. Shorter. Like, I know I've, like, kind of just to delve into the story, and I'm already at, like, 27% or something like that as far as story progression goes. So I'm like, okay, so it's definitely a shorter experience. So yeah, I'll definitely have, like I said, I'll have more thoughts on that sort of next week, and I'm hoping to kind of cement my thoughts a little bit more on that game. As of right now, it's weird. It's like so much of Far Cry 5 that I like, but there just seems like there's something kind of missing, and I don't know, and maybe that will go away when I play it a bit more. I'm not sure.
I really ended up enjoying it. I love the soundtrack too. Amazing.
The soundtrack, I will give you, is pretty rad.
Yeah, it's like awesome rap music, hip hop rap, hardcore rap.
I feel like the beginning of this game and the beginning of Far Cry 4 kind of feel very reminiscent of one another. Explosion, getting chased, running away. Like, yeah, I don't know. It was just kind of funny. But anyways, yeah, that's all I've been playing. Besides, some of the usual stuff, but whatever. Should we get into some news, Rico?
I think so, Dane. News. The news. Hey, remember that Castlevania arcade collection that was announced a little while ago by Konami? Yep. Well, they released...
Wait, they're still making video games?
Yeah, apparently. They're porting all their old stuff because they haven't made anything...
They're not making anything new. They're just
they did
pulling all their
They did do the Metal Gear Survive game, which was...
We're going to pretend that...
That didn't happen? Okay.
Yeah. We're just
so now they're just doing collections. I believe the arcade collection is already out. I think...
This is an interesting collection. So this is their Anniversary Collection, which has got... 8 games. Castlevania from the original NES.
Yeah.
Castlevania 2, Simon's Quest, also a NES game. Castlevania The Adventure, which was a Game Boy game. Castlevania 3, Dracula's Curse, which was also a NES game. Kid Dracula, which was a Game Boy game as well. Castlevania 2, Belmont's Revenge, which was also a Game Boy game. And then Super Castlevania 4, which was a Super Nintendo game, and Castlevania Bloodlines, which was a Genesis game. Interesting. Like some of these, I would never have really guessed that they would be doing that. Like
they're
Game Boy
they're
stuff
all
is kind
the
of
straight
cool.
up Castlevania games. Well, not all of them. Like in Castlevania in
Kid
quotation
Dracula?
marks. These are the 2D Castlevanias,
side-scrolling,
not Metroidvanias. Because there's no Symphony of the Night.
Right.
There's none of the Game Boy Advanced ones. There's none of the DS ones.
None of the DS ones, right.
I know those would be, I guess, potentially hard. Then again, none of the touchscreen stuff really mattered for gameplay. Those would simply be your menu screens if they were to bring them to new consoles in a collection like this. I assume there's no Symphony of the Night and some of those other Metroidvanias, because I'm going to assume that they're going to make a collection of those games separately.
Well, they released Symphony of the Night, re-released it like not that long ago. They did the Symphony of the Night.
I would love to see a collection with all the DS games that I played. Was it last year? It was last year now, wasn't it? And it feels like yesterday. What did I beat? Like 3 or 4 Castlevania games last year?
Yeah, you went on a tear there a little while.
Some of the old Game Boy Advance ones or DS ones.
Yeah. So that comes out May 16th.
Yeah, let's be honest. I'll probably end up getting this on Switch, but I kind of wish it would have been like every Castlevania game, and that would have been amazing. Because it's like it's good, but it's not perfect. But there is some good stuff in there.
PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. So May 16th, $20 American, so it'll probably be 25 Canadian. So there you go. That's your Castlevania news.
Yeah, May 16th. I was trying to look up their Arcade Classics collection, the one that just came out, to see what games are on this one. Oh, here we are. Well, that's a Haunted Castle. That literally looks like Castlevania, like the arcade version of Castlevania.
Word.
Typhoon, no idea. Nemesis, which is basically Gradius. I wonder if I'm on the Japanese site. Life Force, maybe. Thundercross, Scramble, Twin Bee, and Gradius 2. That's a...
Right, but that was literally all of their arcade games.
Yeah, I don't think all of them.
Because that is a
collection of them.
Yeah, it's a collection of just their arcade games, though.
Not these collections that have more than just 8 games. Konami. Yeah. Speaking of classic,
also cruising along on the
classic game tip,
classic game drive here. Sega unveils 10 more games that are going to be included in the September Mega Drive Mini or Genesis Mini in North America. This story comes from Eurogamer, hence the Mega Drive Mini. But they have now announced 20 games overall, but today they announced Castle of Illusion starring Mickey Mouse, World of Illusion starring Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck, Thunder Force 3, Super Fantasy Zone, Shinobi 3, Streets of Rage 2, Earthworm Jim, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Contra Hard Corps, and Landstalker.
This is a good collection of games, man, and they got another 20 to go.
I know.
I pre-ordered one. We already knew that. Not that I don't have anything stopping me from playing these games, because we all remember I was talking about playing Castlevania Bloodlines on Genesis on an emulator. I did that on my phone, didn't I? I think I did play that. I did play that on my phone with my 8-bit controller.
It's this thing is really like Eco the Dolphin, Castlevania Bloodlines, Shining Forces on there, Comic Zone, Altered Beast, Gunstar Heroes. Like
those are all cool. Those are all quality.
Shinobi
Genesis
3,
games,
Super Fantasy Zone, Earthworm Jim, Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Like that's a pretty.
Did you know the Sega Genesis?
I may have to get this.
Did you know the Sega Genesis was the first console with high definition graphics? They had HD before HD even existed, man.
Dude, it had the blast.
It says right on the console, high definition graphics. They were HD before HD, man. HD totally aped that from Genesis. I just noticed that the other day. I'm like, what? Wait a minute.
I guess compared to the Master System,
high definition.
It was higher definition than the Master System, so they're not lying. That thing's shaping up to be.
It's $100 in Canada. At least the one positive is it comes with 2 controllers.
3 buttons.
Yeah, which is, let's be honest, everyone's going to be playing it with some kind of wireless 8-bit controller of some sorts. because they will make an adapter. I'm sure of it. I'm pretty sure it's just USB, isn't it? I think it's just USB on the front of the...
Yeah, they're just USB on the front.
So I'm pretty sure their USB dongle probably works with it right out of the box. But I'm sure they'll make Genesis kind of themed controllers and whatnot. You could always get the 6-button controller off Amazon, the Japanese version as well.
Right.
I think they're $10 or $20. Moving along. Epic is under fire, as a report says Fortnite teams are facing endless 70-hour-a-week plus crunch. Hey, who would have guessed a game with like weekly updates that they'd change after community backlash, like overnight, new weapons, new map alterations, all kinds of crazy stuff because there's super development on the fly, would mean that a bunch of people are like getting cracked behind the whip. That's not entirely surprising.
Yeah, so apparently this report came out by Polygon, and it's a pretty interesting, like there's a whole article here. Colin Campbell wrote it, how Fortnite's success led to months of intense crunch at Epic Games. And it's a bit of a long article, but he really gets into it, and it sounds like they talked to a lot of people, and obviously this was definitely more of a problem earlier on, but it sounds like it's still definitely a problem even still. They were working typically 50, 60, and upwards of 70 hours on occasion. And he says one source, and he was a contractor working in QA. It just, I mean, this shit's gotta stop. I don't know. Like, I don't think, like, so many thoughts that don't want to come out. Like, if that thing that you rolled out broke something, like if it was game breaking, I understand, like trying to make sure like it's fixed and you can at least roll it back so that the game was not broken anymore. But like if you push something out and the fans are all freaking out, like, oh, this like broke, whatever, like go home, enjoy a dinner, have, sex with your wife, whatever, get a good night's sleep, come back in tomorrow and start working on what you're going to do to fix it or whatever. Like, I don't think that you should have to, like, I think that gamers have become such whiny babies about shit that part of the problem here is that like these companies are almost afraid to piss off their fan base a little bit. And it's like, I don't know. I just, at a certain point, you just need to actively tell people like, look, we're working on it. We'll get it sorted when we can get it sorted. But that doesn't mean that you need to keep people in for 60, 70 hour weeks and stuff. And it's just, that kind of shit's just got to stop. Like it's one thing if it's once every so often. It's another thing if it's a thing that's happening regularly. Because it's like, how is that going to be for down the road? You're going to be grumpy to your wife. You're going to be grumpy to your coworkers. You're going to burn yourself out. You're going to burn other people out. Like, it's just, yeah, like they need to, I mean, obviously it sounds like they have since hired a lot more people and stuff like that, but it sounds like this was, a huge problem. Yeah, and people, of course, you say like, oh, we'll just get more bodies. And now you've got a 2-tier system happening in your office where you've got contractors, which are not technically employees working for Epic. And there's now you've got a 2-tiered system when now the contractors are the ones working 60 and 70 hour weeks. And I don't think that's a problem either. Like, I don't think that that's fixing the problem either, especially because it sounds like some of these workers that are contractors aren't getting paid overtime for a lot of that stuff. Like, which that's shitty. Like, if you're working those kind of hours, you should absolutely be getting paid all the overtime for that stuff. If you're working a 12-hour day, but your contract is for 8, you should totally be like rocking that overtime. Like, you should be getting paid for that. That said,
they are getting paid. No one's not getting paid.
Obviously.
They're just getting overworked.
Yeah.
But the support here, I'm reading the story here, the support from managers is kind of like, shut up, do your work. Yeah. There's like no support. It's like, just do it or we'll find someone else. So
one of the crazy things was one of those sources in customer service said that dealing with player questions and problems, we went from maybe 20 to 40 tickets a day to about 3,000 tickets a day. That's crazy. But obviously, like, Epic rapidly hired new staff to try and handle the deluge. But of course, that's a problem that you can't simply be solved immediately with just adding more bodies, right? Like, it's, because, like, let's be honest, like, Fortnite kind of exploded, right? Like, it was kind of this slow burn for a while, and then all of a sudden it was just like one day you woke up and Fortnite was fucking everywhere. Everybody was talking about it. It was on the news. Like, it was this huge thing, right? So yeah, I could definitely see how that would be incredibly frustrating. So I don't know. I just think that, like I said, I think part of this has to do with people need to stop being babies, and some stuff's not going to happen fucking overnight.
I don't.
Your content is going to have to.
I don't ever think the problem is the consumers. The problem is the management styles. It's the taking advantage of people who their dream is to work in the game industry. It's a dream job, and then they use that against everyone to make you work harder, work longer, and that fear aspect that runs around.
If you're not willing to do it, then somebody else will.
It's really unfortunate, and the gamers and consumers have every right to complain about stuff. Yes, stuff isn't going to get changed overnight, but these people aren't working. Like, let's be honest, these people aren't being overworked to fix something that people are complaining about. They're being overworked to make new skins, to make new DLC, new purchase, more shit to make more money for the company. Let's be honest, right? And it just kind of sucks to see where we are like a few months ago. Oh man, Epic's the good guys, giving devs more money, giving creators more money, doing all this good stuff. And it's like, wait, no, here it is. Here's the human cost to all this good nature they were buying, because this ugly story was going to rear its head sooner or later. And it sounds pretty hopeless. It doesn't sound like a fun place to work. And I was skimming over the story as you were talking, and a lot of it was like, you're making lots of money, more money than you make anywhere else. Suck it up, buttercup. Like, that kind of mentality. I used to get that at my old job. We used to get that a lot. The suck it up, buttercup, or good with the bad, because we were compensated well. So that means put up with the shit or get out. And that's just not acceptable. That's not a solution to the problem. These companies need to get back to people first. It's just frustrating. I can't wait until there's a union and these guys all these managers get effed for all the stuff they've done over the last few years that they think is totally acceptable, and it's absolutely not. It's hard. It's going to be hard for the people who do it. It's going to be, it's a battle, but I think it's a battle. Man, the film industry is unionized.
Yeah.
Like, there's no excuse now. The gaming industry needs to, especially an industry about people's passions where you can totally manipulate your workers so easily. And they do, and they've done it again and again and again and again. And even a company that we are thinking is above this, that like we've been, they're giving away free games in the Epic Game Store. Epic's doing all this awesome stuff. And it's like, no, well, guess what? No, they're just douchebags like everyone else. That really pisses me off. Anyway, it sucks. If you want to read more about it and get depressed and, be reminded about the shitty capitalistic society that we live in, you can read that story. Otherwise, man, if you don't put up with that shit.
Yeah, it's got to be a challenge.
It's killing people, man. It's ruining lives, ruining marriages, ruining families. Like, there's a lot of cost to that. And for what? So some douchebag CEO just gets tons of money, and Fortnite gets to freaking give millions of dollars to Ninja and all these stupid competitions and stuff they have going on.
Yeah.
While like stepping over the beaten, broken bodies of their employees. That's sad.
Yeah, it's
moving along. Starlink Battle for Atlas is getting a PC release next week.
Dude, this is
as
so
well
rad.
As the new Star Fox DLC for Switch. And
I feel like that game would look real pretty on PC.
That game would look awesome on PC.
I mean, I'm playing it on Switch, and like it's fun, and that game has been great.
I played it on PS4 because they sent me a code on PS4, and then they did end up sending me a code on. No, I ended up buying it on Switch. Never mind.
You ended up buying it on
the Super sale because they were getting rid of all those toys. I enjoyed it. You know, it's a solid 7, maybe an 8 on the Switch because the Star Fox stuff. It's the best Star Fox game we've had never.
Yeah.
Oh, the Star Fox content's not free. It's $12.
Yeah, it is paid DLC.
Oh well, I paid so little for the game.
It's a fun game.
It is fun. It's a great little shooter.
I feel like getting the digital edition of that game. Just don't bother with the toys unless you really like. Unless you really think the toys are cool.
The toys pretty,
and you're going to put them on a shelf.
Pretty cheap.
But yeah, that game is one of the best Star Fox games in a long time.
There's also the new content, the Crimson Moon update for all the other consoles.
Adding Peppy, Slippy, and Falco as playable pilots. That's pretty sweet because before you were only playing Star Fox.
Star Fox DLC, which is separate from that Crimson Moon stuff.
Yes, sorry, that's the $12 upgrade on Switch, which is still exclusive to the Switch, obviously.
Yeah, that's about it for Starlink. Mortal Kombat 11 is out. I was hoping to get a copy of that. I haven't gotten that, but it's been getting pretty decent reviews around the internet.
I've been also hearing
that. It is a competent fighting game. Those guys have been making dope Mortal Kombat games ever since they kind of revamped the whole franchise. I will most likely get this at some point, whether either from WE or I will just buy it. I really liked, the Injustice games and the last couple of Mortal Kombats. But this is just a funny story because someone went through all the unlocks.
Right.
So this one doesn't have the time investment. I saw another story where apparently you can unlock
oh no, there's
does this one have time in the story?
Scroll to the bottom.
I didn't see it. Okay, there we go. So someone figured out the math on what it would cost to buy all the unlocks versus how long it would take you to unlock them through playtime. So apparently to unlock all the stuff through gameplay would take you about 3,390 hours.
Yeah.
Or you could just simply pony up the in-game currency, and it would cost you $6,440 to buy every skin currently available. That's not including, I guess, new skins coming. That's just crazy. Of course, no one's going to do that.
That said,
someone might do it. Really?
I mean, luckily you can. They have. I will point out as well, though, that Ed Boon and the guys over at that are working on Mortal Kombat 11 have said that they're going to be making changes to their tweaking.
And there is a lot
stuff.
of skins for each character.
Yeah, and they've also said flat out they're working on adjusting that. So this is a little bit misleading as of right now because it sounds like they're making it easier, because I think they realize that's kind of ridiculous.
The time investment. To be honest, it's fine and dandy that you have hundreds of skins or thousands of skins. But in my opinion, when it comes to this kind of stuff, there should be no RNG. I can buy the exact skin I want, which I assume you could probably do in the system. I have no idea. But I just think when you have that much extra content, okay, a couple 100 hours to unlock it all through gameplay, or another $40 and you get it all. So it looks like to be a maximum where you spend so much and you just get it all.
So it looks like there's 60 different skins, and they each roughly cost about $5 each if you were to purchase, because you can purchase what they call time crystals through the in-game store for about $5, which is roughly what each skin runs on average. So I mean that, and you can 4 of the skins are unlocked by playing through the character tutorials story in the basic towers.
It's 60 skins per character.
So that leaves 56 skins to unlock. Skins are currently unlocked just by playing the game or can be purchased using in-game currency called time crystals. There are 23 characters presently, and each offers 60 different skins. So each character you can get 4 skins by playing through the game with each character, which leaves 56 skins per character to unlock.
That's all. Good on them, whatever. They get their money, but I honestly think when it gets this ridiculous with so many pieces of content, I feel like that when you hit a certain gate of money you spent, they should just give it all to you. That's not how things work in real life, because they'll take every dime from you they can. But like the nice good guy thing to do in these instances would be like, say, okay, you spent $100 on you know what? We're just going to give you all the rest of the stuff because we're nice guys and you've contributed a lot to us. I think that's how they should do it. Wouldn't that be a cool, positive way of doing this stuff? Would they ever do it? No, because that makes too much sense.
Yeah. So, yeah, apparently the guy on Reddit went across and he says that he earned roughly 760 time crystals after playing the game for 4 hours. Oh my god. So if he wanted to unlock every game skin through gameplay alone, it would take 3,390 hours of playtime and cost 644,000 time crystals. But like I said, this is all a bit up in the air as of right now, because they are tweaking all of that, and they have since said, like, we understand that, you know, we need to make adjustments because it's a little bit ridiculous right now. So, you know, like I said, this story
it's just kind of funny,
changing very quickly. I agree. Like, just the sheer amount of skins there is insane.
Moving along to Nintendo news. Nintendo episode 200 celebration giveaway contest continued. Let's give away a secret passcode for Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu.
Pokemon Let's Go a Pikachu.
If you would like to enter to win this game, make sure to check in at bit.ly/Geekoholics200. The password is
Ryan Reynolds.
I was just waiting for you to say it. So Ryan Reynolds is the password to enter for your copy of Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu. Digital version provided by Nintendo Canada.
Seeing as he's going to be in Detective Pikachu, it made sense.
So a bunch of reports around the internet about the new updated different Switches. The Switch Lite version apparently is coming in June. No one's called it Lite. I just call it Lite because I'm going off DS Lite.
For everybody who can't see Rick, he's also doing air quotes when he says Lite.
So the Bloomberg reported that the cheaper version will likely release sometime in June. That lines up very nicely with E3 and their Nintendo Direct and whatnot. And apparently the other version, I guess, which would be the replacement for the full-on regular Switch, they're saying later in the year. So the modest upgrade, or the more powerful version, a more powerful version is not in development. So I don't know what a modest upgrade means for the existing model. Maybe it's just like,
maybe make the screen better, give it a bigger battery, like all that kind of stuff would be considered like a modest upgrade,
but a little different. I saw a mock,
add a second kickstand.
I saw a mock-up picture of the Lite version on Twitter, and it almost looks like a PSP.
Yeah, I could see that.
Because the sticks don't come off. The Joy-Cons are not removable. Apparently, that's the rumor.
That's the rumor. Yeah, I don't know. Like, all of this, like, I guess it makes sense for them to release a cheaper Switch so that they could then...
Parents don't feel so bad giving this, in Canada, almost $400 device to their kids that when they drop, you potentially can destroy the controllers.
I guess, yeah. How much? What's the Switch in Canada? $350? Right. Dang. Yeah, I guess that is pretty pricey. So you make a lighter version that's what, like
$250, $279, but it doesn't break when you drop it.
But if the Joy-Cons are attached on the side, doesn't that kind of make, like, how is it still a Switch at that point?
Sure, you still dock it and can use Joy-Cons and everything, it's just as powerful.
But if the Joy-Cons don't come off,
you'd have to buy a separate one.
I guess you just
so you'd have to go buy $80 Joy-Cons on the side, which kind of negate the.
Or I guess you buy a Pro controller.
You buy a Pro controller, which is $100 Canadian, which kind of negates the savings. But hey,
yeah, I don't. It's a weird. I don't know. I'm very curious to see sort of what happens. You know,
a month and a half away.
Yeah.
Mario Maker 2 got a launch date announcement, June 28th. I don't know what they said summer, but yeah, so apparently Nintendo announced today, June 28th.
Sweet. June 28th. There you go. Super Mario Maker.
I didn't check my email. I wonder, I must have got a press release. Anyway.
I don't know that I did. Anyways.
Moving along. That's it for Nintendo news. PlayStation. There's a God of War documentary coming on the PlayStation YouTube channel, Raising Kratos. That was announced by Sony a couple days ago. It is not out yet. Did they say when it's going to be released?
It's only fitting on the 1-year anniversary. We're excited to share this peek behind the curtain of God of War's very own Santa Monica with a trailer for our upcoming film, Raising Kratos.
Yeah, that's really cool. I would like to watch that. That was my game of the year last year. It's a fantastic game. Be cool to see some behind the scene.
Yeah, definitely.
We kind of talked about this next story already. Days Gone free DLC, which is survival mode, different combat challenges, bike horde or combat challenges, survival difficulty. The survival mode tests players by daring them to beat the story with increased difficulty settings, no fast travel or survival vision, an immersive HUD that removes maps and indicators from the gameplay screen. Nothing about eating.
So it's essentially just a different difficulty mode, though.
Eating would be cool. They should do that. Make it truly super survival mode. We got some more details on Persona 5 Royal today. Atlus announced it's coming out in Japan in October 2020. In the West, the details about new protagonist, new trailer, new...
So this is Persona 5 with some added stuff,
it's basically the Persona 5 Golden version.
Right.
It's got a new player, new character that you can play as. Some new characters, and I believe there's a whole new semester, so I imagine the game must be longer as well. Yeah, third school semester,
because that's what that game needed to be longer.
Yeah, it needed to be long. I'm 100 hours and I'm on the last dungeon of just regular Persona 5. No word about a Switch version yet. I'm very disappointed. They did say that this version also takes advantage of PS4 Pro with higher resolution and nicer graphics, so I don't know if that's just better textures.
Interesting.
I really like Persona 5.
Cool.
This new version doesn't make me want to go, well, I guess I should beat it because I'm so close to beating it.
Aren't you real close?
Yeah,
to the
I'm on
end?
the last dungeon.
Saying?
I'm over 100 hours.
That's insane.
No public service announcements this week, except for make sure to enter our contest, share the show with all your friends, leave a review on iTunes, the Apple Podcast app if you have it. Free for all section. I'll just be real quick.
Free for all.
Before you get into what you were talking about, I watched The Mule, which is a Clint Eastwood movie. Saw it on demand.
Oh.
Actually, with my brother-in-law and sister were visiting for Easter weekend.
How was it? Was it everything?
Yeah, it's pretty entertaining. It's Clint Eastwood is like an old man who went through life ignoring his family and putting work ahead of everything.
Interesting. Okay.
And making mistakes through his life, and late in life, he, he's kind of lost his farm, lost his business. He's pretty much, all his mistakes have caught up to him. And then he ends up getting dragged into becoming a drug mule for the cartel.
Oh,
and,
wow.
That
takes a turn.
Getting a bunch of money and starts righting some of the wrongs in his life. because he's actually using the money to do all good stuff for his family and community, which is hilarious. And he ends up being like one of the best drug runners for the cartel ever. Apparently hundreds of kilos of cocaine that he'd ran. It was quite entertaining. It was totally not what I expected. It was entertaining. It was funny. Bradley Cooper's in it. As well as, I think he's a DA agent.
Interesting.
It was an enjoyable flick. It was funny. It had some drama.
I'll have to keep my eye out. That's one my wife would probably really like.
And then you got a couple things here. One thing you forgot to mention last week.
Yeah, so...
No, you mentioned it on the
Discord.
I don't know...
Yeah, I did. I mentioned it on the Discord. So there's a service called Tubi TV, Tubi TV. It's a free streaming platform.
Tubi.tv, right? Is the website?
TubiTV.com, I believe. Let me double check this before I... Yes, it's TubiTV.com. And
it's legit.
Initially, yes,
legit.
It's all legal. It's all good. Service. It is ad supported. That's like, that said, they're not like full 5-minute, insane ads like you would expect on television. They're like a minute and a half. You get like, anywhere between like 1 and 3 actual sort of ads while you're waiting for your ad block to finish or whatever. I kind of stumbled across this by accident. And I realized, like, holy crap, there's actually a surprising amount of content on here, even for somebody who lives in Canada, which is usually not the case. Usually we get, like, for example, we don't even get Hulu up here.
Movies, TV.
So, like, there's, like, movies, TV. I will say, like, there's a fairly large collection of sort of old or B movies.
It's all right. It's all right.
So, like, and like, I'm not going to lie, some of it is terrible. And some of it is terrible in the best possible way. Like Sharknado 5. Who knew? I didn't. That said, there's also a surprising amount of, like anime and like older anime, which is, I'm finding harder to find, like, cause I tend to really appreciate some of the anime that was made in the mid to late 90s and into the early 2000s. Which tends to be not on really any streaming platforms that I currently subscribe to. But for example, Cowboy Bebop is on there. It's in 720p HD, so it's not full 1080p, but still easily watchable. It's subtitled.
Is it in HD anywhere? Like full HD?
You can buy the
Blu-ray collection.
You can buy the actual collection, I know, on Blu-ray and as well as on, I know, a few other platforms. It's like the restored collection or whatever that is full 1080p HD. That said, I've actually been watching it
series.
It's a complete series. It's all there. It's got your classic, once the episode ends, another one begins. Like it's got all that. I'm amazed. Like I said on our Discord, if you're into kind of older cartoons, all of the first generation Transformers is on there. All of the original G.I. Joe series, all 4 seasons of the original G.I. Joe is on there. It's got a few of the other G.I. Joe series as well, like G.I. Joe Resolute, which was a several part mini series that they actually all put together into I think it's like about an hour-long movie, which if you haven't seen it is fucking rad and you should check it out because it's essentially it gives the whole backstory of the feud between Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow, and it's awesome. It's so good. Probably one of the best pieces of G.I. Joe content that I've ever watched. It's like it's definitely mature, like it was made for a mature audience. Like it's rated PG-13 kind of an idea. It's great. That's all on there. Yeah, so just some of like kind of that older content that is a little harder to find. I was just surprised. It was all on here. It's all free. It's all legal. There's apps. There's an app for Android. There's an app for your phone. You can just go to the website. You don't even need to sign in or anything. You just go to tubitv.com. Boom. I know this sounds like an ad. They're not actually paying me. I was surprised because the amount of content that's on there that's free, I figured people would have been telling me about this,
PS4,
or at least I would have
Xbox,
heard about it.
Roku.
Yeah, it's got exactly. It's got ads for all of that stuff. And if you want, you can create an account, and essentially the reason that you might want to do that is so that when you log in, it will keep track of what you've been watching, and you can do what you were previously watching, and you can do next played and like all that kind of stuff. But if you never want to sign in and you never want to do that, you can totally just go there and watch movies and TV stuff.
Totally not watching
all
episode
included.
1 of Transformers right now as you speak.
Yeah, it's even got the original miniseries for G.I. Joe that actually came out 2 years, I want to say, before the first season of the television show, which is kind of cool. But yeah, there's, like I said, there's a ton of content on there, and it's free. There's new stuff coming and going. Like I said, a bunch of sort of harder to find, just older content generally. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. I also found there was some other anime movies and some older anime, like I said, from sort of that era that's on there that's great. It's worth adding to your, it's free, like I said, so it's worth kind of adding to your box to check out, hey, I wonder if that's on there. So I've totally been using that to watch through Cowboy Bebop because it's actually funny. I heard about it a ton back in the day in the 90s when it came out, because I think it was 98 when that came out. I heard about it, and it was one of those things where I was yeah, I should totally check that out, and I just kind of never did. And then my brother, strangely enough, my younger brother, he actually bought the whole series on PlayStation Plus or PlayStation Network, and he was been playing through or watching through it, and he loved it, and he was like, dude, you got to check it out if you've never seen it. It's amazing. So a while ago when we were visiting him, we watched the first couple episodes, and I was like, damn, this is really good. I got to check this out. And I've been meaning to pick up the Blu-ray or something so that I can watch it. And so anyways, needless to say, here we are, Tubi TV. There it is. The whole season is there for free. And so I've been watching it through. I'm about halfway through the season now.
That's awesome.
And fuck, that show is so good. That show is so good.
I used to run the video game store way back in the day. We rented a lot of anime on DVD. And that's how I watched Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah. Man, it's great.
On a side note.
So yeah.
Cliff Jumper, how did you miss Megatron in that first... Man, what a punk. Seriously.
I know.
I just watched that clip where he misses him. It's what? He's just sitting there. You just sniped his ass. It would have been, but then I guess the whole thing would have been over. Wouldn't have made for a very good ongoing battle.
And then the other thing that I've got in here, but before I get to the last thing that I've been talking about, episode 201 / Geekoholics 200 giveaway, the last giveaway code for Far Cry New Dawn. The password for that is Bubba.
Bubba Gump. No, just Bubba.
Bubba. Just
your
if you want to put Bubba Gump,
your
too,
buddy Bubba.
Fine.
What do they call him? Your gun for hire.
Bubba. So if you want to, get your chance in for New Dawn, Bubba.
What is this last thing you wrote down here? That don't even know how to read it.
Cabaneri of the Iron Fortress. It's an anime series that I've been watching. It's actually on Amazon Prime.
Is it new?
I don't know how new it is, to be totally honest with you. I was looking... I went down a weird black hole when I came across Tubi TV, and it kind of made me ask what was on what platform, and I was looking across my Netflix and my Amazon and everything. And I saw a preview for this a while ago, and it looked kind of interesting. And it's a really neat... I'm about 5 episodes in so far, and it's just it's like a steampunk style world. It's like a steampunk crossed with a samurai, sort of that Edo style Japanese, like the samurais and things from back then, but crossed with like steampunk. So like the concept is that, and I know it's kind of funny, the concept is that like something happened that turned a bunch of people into what they call cabaneri, which are kind of like zombies, but not really at all. They seem to feed on humans, and when you're bit by them, you turn into one, but they have like this, their heart
looks very
like,
Attack on
glows.
Titan.
Kind of, but like so not at all. It's kind of wild. And the idea is that like people live in these iron fortresses, and there's these crazy steam trains that run back between these iron fortresses, and outside of the walls of the iron fortresses are where the cabaneri live. And so it's this, you know, you start following, and I don't want to give any spoilers away. It's fucking cool. It's not for the weak of heart. It is very violent. It is very gory. It deals with some pretty heavy shit. It's definitely, you know, rated, I mean, R, if you will, or whatever. But man, is it ever good. Like, honestly, if you liked Attack on Titan, this is not a terrible, like, I feel like if you liked that, you would probably really enjoy this as well. It's very different, but it's kind of in a similar vein. You know, they're trying to answer the questions of like what the hell the cabaneri is, and the main protagonist is he's kind of got a secret. Like, it's like I said, I don't want to spoil anything, but what a wild series. I'm loving the art style, the flow of the universe that they've built, with just the way like they use steam for like everything, like even the guys with like the guns, quote unquote, use steam to shoot the bullets out of the guns, like instead of gunpowder and stuff. Like, it's really
cool. Are the cabaneri intelligent, or are they mindless?
They're not intelligent per se, but they're also not mindless.
Because I'm looking at images here, and I see them with weapons, some of them with weapons and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, and they definitely, they kind of act with like a horde mentality, but like but they seem to be able to work together, and they seem to be pretty smart, kind of. It's really interesting. Like I said, if it's kind of if it's even remotely up your alley, check it out. If you have Amazon Prime, I don't know if it's on any other platforms in the US or
I think it's
what.
on Crunchyroll too as well. I don't know. Looking at the Wikipedia,
yeah, I'm not sure.
Crunchyroll.
Yeah. All I know is, like I said, if you've got Amazon Prime, that's where I'm watching it. It's beautiful. It's a fairly new anime. It's cool. I'm really liking it. It's, you know, it's a neat, like I said, it's just this weird, it's this cross between that sort of era of like samurais and, you know, Ronin and that kind of, that style of like shoguns and stuff like that, mixed with this wild steampunk, and the cabaneri are kind of like a cross between a vampire and a zombie. Like, they're not slow and meandering, but they're also not like kind of crazy and badass like vampires usually are. Like, and there's clearly kind of more to it than meets the eye, which I'm just kind of starting to get into in the series, and I'm like, shit, this is cool. So yeah, those are kind of my two that I've been going back and forth on right now, and if you're, like I said, if you're interested, check it out. It's really
awesome.
Cool. So yeah.
And Dane, with that being said,
that's all I got.
I'm going to say episode 201 is done. But I have to add
That's
something.
It.
I forgot to share my Days Gone tip when we were talking about Days Gone. When I was talking about fast travel.
You're going to tell us your little, what was your little sneaky tip?
Abusing the gas mechanic a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
At a certain point of the game, you'll unlock a Nero checkpoint. I think it's pretty early. I think it's one of the first ones you unlock, if not the second or third. It's called the Little Bear Lake Nero checkpoint on the map when you have it highlighted. and it's in the middle of the map. So with it being in the middle of the map, you essentially can fast travel to any area of the map, because if you fast travel there, right next to where you spawn in the fast travel point, there's a gas can next to a smashed up, burned out, looks like a Ford Explorer SUV type vehicle. So then you could refuel and fast travel like to any area in the map. And so if you could afford to fast travel there, you can essentially afford to fast travel to any other point.
To fast travel
so it
anywhere?
Makes it a little easier in that, like, if you're trying to get from a complete one side to the other, if you want to fast travel,
right.
And there's gas there, and or if you have enough gas to fast travel there because you're low on gas, you just know that there will be gas there, and it's quite close to the middle of all the encampments and stuff. So I found it's kind of handy. So not really a cheat, but a kind of a tip if you're struggling. And I'm sure there's other places similar to it. I just kind of I found that place is very handy because it's in the middle of the map. Because unless you have full fuel, you can't go from the bottom to the top of the map. You can, but when you fast travel to the top, you'll have no gas. So then you'd be stuck in the position of, okay, great, I fast traveled here, and now I have no gas. So now I got to go try and find some gas. If there isn't any near me, then it can be a little, you're trying to get stuff done. That can be kind of an annoyance, right? So this kind of removes that, because if you fast travel to the middle and then anywhere else, you can get to that location and then still have gas to drive to, say, the quest or the mission or whatnot. And yeah, that's about it.
Excellent tip.
You can follow me on Twitter at RickF.
You can always come bug me on Twitter at Dane Cody, at DAYNECODY. And as always, we're hanging out in the Discord.
Absolutely join there. That's where a lot of conversations happening on the daily. It's so busy. Actually, it's distracting, but it's fun. In an awesome way. I really like the way that's shaping up, and the more the merrier. Welcome all the new people. Don't be scared. Our numbers went up quite a bit with the contest because one of the entries is, hey, join our Discord. So yeah, join our Discord and hopefully stick around and chat with us. And of course,
and the search for the best wireless headset continues.
Also, welcome to everyone who took part in the contest. It's awesome. So happy our numbers are up. That makes me happy. It makes it more worthwhile, when we're just like, oh man, I wish, things were getting big and just some momentum right now. I'm really enjoying that. Everyone's taking part. It's awesome. And I really like our little community that's starting to form and grow. And it kind of seems proportionate to the amount of effort I put in besides just recording the show. So now if I had more free time, I could put even more time into it. But yeah, keep it locked on the bit.ly/Geekoholics200. That will be continually updated every week with the new contests. We're going to be doing it for at least another 3 episodes. I think we'll run out of prizes eventually. And I think that's about it, my friend.
Tune in next week and see who won this week, and for more great content.
Later. Peace.
If it's even remotely up your alley, check it out. If you have Amazon Prime, I don't know if it's on any other platforms in the US or
I think it's on Crunchyroll too as well. I don't know. Looking at the Wikipedia,
I'm not sure.
Crunchyroll.
All I know is, like I said, if you've got Amazon Prime, that's where I'm watching it. It's beautiful. It's a fairly new anime. It's cool. I'm really liking it. It's it's a neat, like I said, it's just this weird, it's this cross between that sort of era of like samurais and Ronin and that kind of that style of like shoguns and stuff like that, mixed with this wild steampunk, and the Cabaneri are kind of like a cross between a vampire and a zombie. Like they're not slow and meandering, but they're also not like kind of crazy and badass like vampires usually are, like, and there's clearly kind of more to it than meets the eye, which I'm just kind of starting to get into in the series, and I'm like, shit, this is cool. So yeah, those are kind of my two that I've been going back and forth on right now, and if you're, like I said, if you're interested, check it out. It's really
awesome.
Cool. So yeah.
And Dane, with that being said,
that's all I got.
I'm going to say episode 201 is done. But I have to add
That's
something.
It?
I forgot to share my Days Gone tip when we were talking about Days Gone. When I was talking about fast travel.
You're going to tell us your little, what was your little sneaky tip?
Abusing the gas mechanic a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
At a certain point of the game, you'll unlock a Nero checkpoint. I think it's pretty early. I think it's one of the first ones you unlock, if not the second or third. It's called the Little Bear Lake Nero checkpoint on the map when you have it highlighted. And it's in the middle of the map. So with it being in the middle of the map, you essentially can fast travel to any area of the map, because if you fast travel there, right next to where you spawn in the fast travel point, there's a gas can. Next to a smashed up, burned out, looks like a Ford Explorer SUV type vehicle. Then you could refuel and fast travel like to any area in the map. And so if you could afford to fast travel there, you can essentially afford to fast travel to any other point.
To fast travel
so it
anywhere?
Makes it a little easier, and that like if you're trying to get from a complete one side to the other, if you want to fast travel,
right.
And there's gas there, and or if you have enough gas to fast travel there because you're low on gas, you just know that there will be gas there, and it's nice. It's quite close to the middle of all the encampments and stuff. So I found it's kind of handy. So not really a cheat, but a kind of a tip if you're struggling. And I'm sure there's other places similar to it. I just kind of I found that place is very handy because it's in the middle of the map. Because unless you have full fuel, you can't go from the bottom to the top of the map. You can, but when you fast travel to the top, you'll have no gas. So then you'd be stuck in the position of, okay, great, I fast traveled here, and now I have no gas. So now I got to go try and find some gas. If there isn't any near me, then it can be a little, you're trying to get stuff done. That can be kind of an annoyance, right? So this kind of removes that, because if you fast travel to the middle and then anywhere else, you can get to that location and then still have gas to drive to, say, the quest or the mission or whatnot. And yeah, that's about it.
Excellent tip.
You can follow me on Twitter at RickF.
You can always come bug me on Twitter at Dane Cody, at DaneCody. And as always, we're hanging out in the Discord.
Absolutely join there. That's where a lot of conversations happening on the daily. It's so busy. Actually, it's distracting, but it's fun. In an awesome way. I really like the way that's shaping up, and the more the merrier. Welcome all the new people. Don't be scared. Our numbers went up quite a bit with the contest because one of the entries is, hey, join our Discord. So yeah, join our Discord and hopefully stick around and chat with us. And of course,
and the search for the best wireless headset continues.
Also, welcome to everyone who took part in the contest. It's awesome. So happy our numbers are up. That makes me happy. It makes it more worthwhile, when we're just like, oh man, I wish, things were getting big and just some momentum right now. I'm really enjoying that everyone's taking part. It's awesome, and I really like our little community that's starting to form and grow, and it kind of seems proportionate to the amount of effort I put in besides just recording the show. So now if I had more free time, I could put even more time into it. But yeah, keep it locked on the bit.ly/Geekoholics200. That will be continually updated every week with the new contests. We're going to be doing it for at least another 3 episodes. I think we'll run out of prizes eventually. And I think that's about it, my friend.
Tune in next week and see who won this week, and for more great content.
Later. Peace.